Welcome back, folks. This is U.S. Home Talk. It is Wednesday, right around noon Central Standard Time. We welcome you back. We do appreciate you tuning in, whether it's live or later in the week. I'm your host today, Jason Walgrave with Walgrave Real Estate Group and the Minnesota Real Estate Team at RE/MAX Advantage Plus. We've got the great Marcus Walgrave with Hague Realtors out of the great state of South Dakota. Guns a-blazing, baby. And then we've got Mortgage Mike at Illuminate Bank. And is that Pinch and Pennies? Is that what that was?
No,
Pinch
I
and
learned
Penny?
that this last weekend.
What is that?
Golf clap?
It's mini clap.
Mini
So
clap.
Mini clap. So instead of the hands, you clap with your fingers. It's mini clap.
Interesting. I learned something new today, the mini clap. And then, of course, we've got our producer, Evan Little, who without him, this whole thing would be a complete disaster. I mean, it would likely wouldn't even air. I mean, we would give it our best effort, and it would not be anything close to as magnificent as it is with Evan. It's true. I know it's true. All right, folks, best way you get hold of us anytime during the week, of course, is our website, ushometalk.com. We've got a fantastic real estate hotline number. You can call, text that number anytime, 612-234-7585. Call or text that number anytime. You can connect with Marcus, Mike, myself, Evan, all of our fantastic U.S. Home Talk partners. Today we're going to be talking about ways to increase your home's value. I think that this is a really good one. Statistically, folks are staying in their homes longer than they have historically for a number of different reasons. But if you're going to be staying, how do we make your home worth more? How do we increase its value? We're going to start off with siding and exterior paint. I think that has a lot to do with curb appeal, right? I've seen homes that they put on new siding, and I'm not talking about re-bricking the whole house or or going super expensive on the siding, but just regular siding or painting your house. I've seen homes that a fresh coat was probably 2 coats of paint on the exterior changes the whole house, changes the whole curb appeal. It looks fantastic. And so siding or exterior paint is a great way to increase your home's value.
Now, I showed a lake house last weekend, and it was built in the early 90s. And it got re-sided. The whole thing got re-sided, or the whole home was re-sided. And I tell you what, the online photos looked like it was a brand new build. Because of how sharp it looked. And obviously, to your point too, Jason, where you put new siding down, you're going to do new trim, and then that's all going to get that fresh coat of paint, and that's going to look really nice too. There's no fading, but it was one of those deals where 35-year-old home and online photos, curb appeal. As soon as we pulled up to it, it was like, man, this is a sharp looking house. Yeah. And so I mean, it spendy to do, but definitely a great investment for first impressions.
Yeah, it increases the home value. Number 2 on our list is windows and doors. And so I looked at a house yesterday with some clients. It's 70s built. I mean, it's at least 50 years old, right? They came, and it's not a real big house, but good grief. They did new siding, new windows, new soffits and fascia, and then new garage door and new front door. And it looked fantastic. I mean, it, like you said, Marcus, it almost looked brand new. I mean, the style is, you could tell it wasn't a modern or new style, but the house looked great. And so that had new siding, and then windows and doors can make a huge difference.
We just had a neighbor just put in new garage doors, and it looks like a completely different house.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
They went from like the vinyl one, and they went to like ones that I don't think they're wood. It looks like wood. It's a wood look, and they added some windows in there. Yeah. Where the other ones were just like the old vinyl ones, whatever, your standard white or whatever.
Yep.
And yeah, crazy difference. Just the garage doors alone.
It's a huge difference, and I've had folks where they instead of replacing the garage door and the front door, they simply just painted it. And that made a huge difference, right? And so Changing that front elevation, keep in mind it's the first thing folks see when they pull up is the front of the house and the front elevation. So, folks, we're talking about ways to increase your home's value. Be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. Our real estate hotline number, which is a 24-hour real estate hotline number, 612-234-7585. Next on our list, landscaping and lighting. Again, it makes such a huge impact. I was at another house yesterday, and really nice luxury home. Big house out in the wilds. Completely redid the inside. The inside was spectacular. They're not done yet. They're going to do some landscaping, and it's going to make a big difference. But I noticed the landscaping right when I pull up. I'm like, oof, this needs some attention. I mean, it needs a refresh. Right now, up here, my goodness, the weeds. My kids are pulling weeds every single week in the rocks and the landscaping and around the house. I mean, you guys have weeds like growing more than usual this year, like everywhere. No,
I don't know about more than usual, but it's just they're always there.
Yeah,
they're just always there. And it's like it's been super obviously warm and humid and hot. It's been tropical here. I mean, It's like the Amazon rainforest up here lately. So all those plants, I'm sure, just like, yeah, baby, we're growing.
Let's
faster
grow.
than we ever had before.
I feel like I've had the weeds. I feel like I've had the weeds. I don't know if it's because maybe a little bit of the drought and the ground dried up, and then the bugs made digging holes down there, and everything just kind of filled in when we get a little rain, or what the deal is. But a lot of weeds, for sure, especially the ones right on the foundation from like the landscaping tarp to the house.
Yeah,
they're coming up right in that little crack, and but if you jump on them right away, then their roots aren't deep, and it's not too big of a job.
No, it's not. It's not too bad. How to increase your home's value? Next on our list, flooring. This is one very common that Marcus and I talk about with sellers, folks that want to put their home on the market, or new buyers. Flooring. We're talking about carpet. We've got tile. A lot of folks aren't doing tile right now. They're doing LVP or LVT, so that luxury vinyl tile, luxury vinyl planks. It looks really fantastic. I mean, it's come a long way from the old Pergo days, back when that was kind of new, and certainly the old linoleum days. We all know what the linoleum was like.
No one's gone back to linoleum.
No one's gone back to linoleum.
No comeback there.
No, and before that was the good old asbestos tiles, and so no, we don't have those anymore. Flooring makes a huge difference. So whether it's hard floor or carpet, it can really change the feel and increase your home's value. We're going to do one more and then go to Jeff O'Brien's Legal Minute. Folks, we're talking about ways to increase your home's value. Number 5, the kitchen. So we hosted a family reunion last Saturday. It was a family reunion, surprise 50th anniversary for our mom and dad, and then our aunt and uncle, Dan and Deb too. They were also married 50 years ago. So we got 80% of the time, and we got like 50 people at the house. Where are they at? They're in the kitchen. I mean, we spend time in the kitchen probably more than any other place. The living room's probably second, and then obviously the bedrooms when you got to sleep at night. But the kitchen's a big deal. I mean, buyers, they walk in, and front elevation's the first thing that they see. They walk in that front door, and the kitchen's probably pretty close to the front door. And so, what are we gonna do in the kitchen? How are we gonna upgrade it? Countertops, appliances. New cabinets, maybe not new cabinets. Maybe you're just going to paint the cabinets or put new doors on the cabinets. Backsplash. Maybe you do some new faucets in the kitchen sink. But these are all things that are really important to buyers. It's what buyers are looking for. They're looking, I think, the 3 most important things a buyer's looking for are going to be your front elevation, your kitchen, and then probably your primary suite. And so that's why kitchen is number 5 on the list. Would you guys agree you spend a lot of time in your kitchen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. And my kids do too.
Yep.
Dad, what's to eat? You got anything to eat?
There's nothing to eat.
There's nothing here.
I mean, did you look in the pantry or open the fridge? Because I'm pretty sure it's not empty.
Pretty sure we don't have any shelf space open. There's no shelf
Oh my
space open.
goodness.
So there's stuff in there. Just look.
I get that
Open
all
the door
time.
and look.
There's nothing to eat. Yes, there is. All right, we're going to hop over to a legal minute, and then we'll come back and finish up with ways to increase your home's value.
This is Jeff O'Brien, attorney with Hush Blackwell with the U.S. Home Talk Legal Minute. For many people, a primary estate planning concern is how to transfer their home to their children without the need for a probate proceeding but maintaining control of the property. In those situations, a transfer on death deed may provide the solution. A transfer on death deed is a deed that is executed and recorded during the grantor's lifetime but does not make an effective transfer until the grantor's death. A key aspect of this type of deed in comparison to a conveyance with retention of a life estate is that the deed can be revoked during the grantor's lifetime without the grantee's consent. This provides the grantor the flexibility to make alternate arrangements regarding the property during his or her lifetime. It should be noted that a transfer on death deed is not necessarily appropriate for every situation, and careful consultation with an attorney knowledgeable in their use is a must. This is Jeff O'Brien, attorney with Hush Blackwell with the U.S. Home Talk Legal Minute.
That was a good legal minute. That was a good legal minute.
I did not know that.
No, I didn't either. I've heard of it, but I didn't. What I didn't realize, what I just learned, and thank you, Jeff O'Brien, is that you can do the transfer on death deed, but you can change it.
Yeah.
Without the I mean that's I think that's a great tool. Thank you, Jeff O'Brien. Talking about increasing your home's value, what can you do to your home? Be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. Our real estate hotline number, 612-234-7585. Next on our list, bathrooms. Right? Bathrooms, probably going to start with the primary suite bathroom and then your main floor bathroom. But I think a lot of times when people think bathrooms, they're thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to cost me $20,000. And we've seen some, alternative bathroom remodels where maybe they're coming in, they're putting in a new toilet, they're putting in a new counter on the vanity, and maybe they're, the shower or the tub, they're just changing the curtains or some of the decor in there. I mean, you can update those bathrooms without having to spend a ton of money, but remodeling and renovating and updating your bathrooms will increase your home's value. Agree. Everybody agrees. When we got a silence like that.
With the bathroom, to your point too, Jason, where you replace the toilet. Toilets aren't that expensive,
right?
You can go to the granite or quartz business in town and say, hey, where's your scrap pile?
Yep.
And a lot of bathrooms, that countertop isn't very large, so you can find a piece that's already heavily discounted. Put a nice chunk of granite or quartz in there for the vanity countertop, and maybe change out some light fixtures.
Mm-hmm.
There aren't too many in a bathroom, maybe just the one above the mirror. And so you're really doing 3-4 purchases, all fairly affordable. And then you go in there and you're like, wow, a completely different bathroom. So
yeah, it feels good and increases the home's value. That actually leads us into our next one, Marcus, lighting. Lighting. I mean, this list is, I love it because it's a list that many contractors or home renovators or folks that are buying and renovating and then reselling properties, they're taking this list and they're looking at it close. So next is lighting. You can change the whole feel of a house by changing out. If you've got outdated or old light fixtures, if you've got old bulbs, and you want to move to your LED bulbs, if you want to do under cabinet lighting or countertop lights, certainly exterior lighting makes a difference. I mean, you can change the whole feel of a house by adding some landscaping lights or uplighting, and so the light fixtures and the lighting can increase your home's value. And again, you don't have to spend a ton of money. I mean, there's some really good deals out there. They've got some home warehouses that they've got really good deals on lighting, and it can make a difference.
That foyer, kitchen, dining room, I mean, those are kind of the three light fixtures that if you're going to spend maybe a little extra dollar, because they're kind of statement pieces. Jason, you made the comment, but as soon as first impressions, right? Well, that's when you pull up to the house, and it's like, okay, well, then you go over through the front door. So then you're greeted by usually that light fixture, and then you kind of take a peek and you look into the kitchen dining, And so, those are areas where, like, maybe you want to consider upgrading in those pieces, but I mean, you can find some really affordable pieces, in the other rooms as well.
And some cool designs. Folks, we're talking about how to increase your home's value. Next on our list is interior painting. We talked about exterior painting a little bit ago. Interior painting, wow, does this make a difference? I mean, it's whether you just have really dated colors, or you've got colors that just aren't in style anymore, or you got a bunch of kids and they've just banged up all the walls and scuffed up pretty much everything, and so
Pretty much. That's what I
fresh
tell my
coat of
parents.
paint makes a huge difference on a house and will increase its value.
I tell my parents when we go there, I'm like, you need some trim you want banged up? Just I have my kids come over. If you got any trim you want it banged up, I got the solution for you. Free.
got it covered.
Free. I get it. Totally free. The other thing, too, about painting an interior, you get that fresh paint smell.
Yes.
So, which, I don't know, I like.
I do too.
Fresh, new car smell,
Yep.
new paint smell, new carpet smell.
Yep.
I mean,
New carpet, yep.
the smell is just kind of like a side benefit there too. It's just new, right? It's just tingles the new sensations, if you will.
Yeah, it's fresh. It's like it came right out of the washer dryer, and you want to put it on. You feel good about it. So, with the paint, I'd say the one thing to kind of keep in mind is try to stay within your color scheme. So if you have like earthy colors on the exterior, you probably want to do something similar to that inside. You probably don't really want to try to mix and match where you got whites and grays here, and then the next room is browns and tans, and so maybe try to keep it so it follows the same concept throughout.
Yeah, I think that's great. Folks, we're talking about ways to increase your home's value. Got a couple left. Next on our list, the roof and the foundation. So every buyer, with the exception of maybe some as-is investors, right? Every buyer is going to expect that roof and the foundation to be in good working order. And so if you've got, we have so many clients that over the years they put in a drain tile system in their basement. Which takes care of, they had some maybe water intrusion issues or some flooding issues, and they put in the drain tile, which protects the foundation. The roof, buyers expect to have a roof with many years left on the life. Roof and foundation, making sure that those are in good working order, it's going to increase your home's value. If they're not, it's going to come up on the inspection, and it's going to cost. It's going to cost you in a sale price.
Come up in the inspection, could come up in Evan's world. If we have some shingles that are super old, everything could have got to the final stage of a transaction, and the insurance provider comes in and say, hey, we can't insure it because the shingles are 30 years old. We got to do something about that. So to try to jump on that, get bids, so then you can kind of maybe find what is something that you can do. And with that foundation piece, what I found, guys, is that sometimes you'll come into an older home, 60, 70 years old, and maybe it's a block foundation, and there's a little bit of bowing. Mm-hmm. The ground has kind of pushed it in a little bit. There's always that concern, like, well, obviously we see it, but if we fix it, if it's fixed, a lot of these companies, they warranty their work for the life of the home. So a buyer is not going to go in there and say, oh, look at this, they had it professionally worked on, not interested.
Right.
They see that and they say, sweet, is the warranty transferable? Okay, great. Now I don't have to deal with it. Yeah. And they're not, or to your point with the drain tile, okay, well, it had water issues in the 90s. They put drain tile in, late 90s, early 2000s, never happened since. Yep. They're not saying, this had problems in the 90s, prior to this drain tile, I'm concerned about it. They say, no, it was already addressed. They feel good about it, and they're going to move forward with purchasing a home like that.
Yep. Great point, Marcus. Folks, talking about how to increase your home's value. We've got one left. We do appreciate however you tune in. Make sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com, our real estate hotline number, which is 612-234-7585. Call or text anytime. It's interesting that this is the last one, but it is absolutely true. How to increase your home's value. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. And I want you to think about, let's think about the car world for a second. What do dealerships do when they get a used car in? What's the first thing that they do? They detail it, right? Because of that, as a detailed and a deep clean on that car, same thing as your house. If your house is dirty, if the windows are dirty and it needs a deep clean, that's going to send a wrong message to potential buyers. You can get a company to come in and probably, on a normal average size house, they can probably do a deep clean for $500 or $600, right? That is worth it all day long. And it increases your home's value, a deep clean.
You might not want to sell your house after you get it deep cleaned. You might be like, dang, this thing shines up nice. Maybe I don't want to sell it anymore.
You'll definitely enjoy it more, right? You'll definitely enjoy it.
Well, Mike, it's like that thing you said about the paint and the carpet, right? You come into a home and it smells like it's been cleaned. You go into the bathrooms and you pick up hints of bleach. You're like, okay. You just start feeling good about it. You want to spend a little bit more time in the home. And you see it and you're like, well, if they're spending that much time just to keep it clean, they're obviously going to be spending a lot of time on other major maintenance items too. So it just makes everybody feel more confident about the overall property.
Folks, we appreciate you tuning in today. We've been talking about how to increase your home's value. We'll be back next week, Wednesday, right around noon Central Standard Time. Thank you for tuning in, whether live or later in the week, and be sure to check out our website, ushometalk.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.